How's it going everybody, Matt here and welcome in for another game review. In this video we're going to discuss about 10 good and bad things in the game Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Be aware this video may contain spoilers. Fallen Order is an action-adventure game. It was developed by Respawn Entertainment and published by Electronic Arts. It was released in November 2019 for Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. In November 2020, the game was released for Google Stadia, and it was released in June 2021 for PlayStation 5 and Xbox X and S series. The game introduced us to many new characters in the Star Wars universe, and it also teaches us new things that we didn't know. The game tells the story of Cal Kestis, a young Jedi trainee, or Padawan, that survived the purge of the Jedi by the Empire, also known as Order 66. Cal and his fellow scrapper Prauf are getting into a tight position where Cal is forced to use the Force in order to save Prauf. Since that moment, things are getting heated and complicated for Cal. The Ninth Sister, an Inquisitor of the Empire and the main protagonist of the game, has tracked Cal and tried to take him as a prisoner or kill him if she had to. While Cal is running away from the Empire forces, an unknown ally has come to his help. These allies are Ser and Grease, which since then are a big part of Cal's journey. Ser tells Cal that there is a chance to bring back the Order of the Jedi and asks for his help in that journey, which to that, Cal agrees. A sequel to this game, Jedi Survivor, is currently known to be released during 2023. So let's start with the list of 10 good and bad things in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. We will start with the 5 good things. Number 1. The Force. Well, it is obvious about the Force because it's one of the most awesome things in general. Cal is very proficient in the Force telekinetic abilities, and he uses 3 main powers in the game, which are push, pull, and slow time. Cal can push and pull objects and enemies. Slow time is being used on objects or enemies and make them slower than they are. This is used for purposes of running on objects or evading and attacking enemies. In addition to that, Cal is also used Psychometry Force, also known as Sense Echo, which is a Force ability of acquiring information about people or events associated with an object solely by touching it. This ability helps Cal during this journey. The player can find sense echoes all over the world, which teaches them what had happened in that place or to that person that the echo is attached to. On a small note, Cal can also run on walls and jump very high thanks to his Force abilities. These abilities can be upgraded in the upgrade menu. Number 2. Characters. Cal is interacting with many characters. The most notable ones are Ser, Grease, PD-1, Merrin, Eno Cordova, and the Ninth Sister. We can also add Darth Vader to the list because he shows up at one point and he is worth the mention. Ser is a former Jedi Master that has cut herself off from the Force after an incident where she embraced the dark side. She finds Cal on the planet Bracca and asks him to join her in her path of restoring the Jedi Order. Grease is a ship's pilot that takes Ser, Cal, and PD-1 from planet to planet. He adds a lot of character to the game due to his sweet and sarcastic personality. PD-1 is a droid that takes a fond in Cal and he is with Cal throughout the whole journey. Merrin is a Night Sister that Cal meets during his endeavors, where she decided to join Cal in his journey to restore the peace to the galaxy. Eno Cordova is a former Jedi Master that has left Cal, even though he doesn't know who Cal is, a mission to find the holocron that will help to restore the Jedi Order. Eno Cordova appears as a hologram throughout the game. The Ninth Sister is Ser's former student that has gone to the dark side and became an Inquisitor. She is the main antagonist in the game. And Darth Vader that we all already know about and knows who he is. Number 3. Combat. The combat is absolutely amazing. The smooth movements, the fighting techniques, and the enemy's movements are working together really well. For each type of enemy, there is a different approach, and that keeps the game challenging and interesting. Cal can parry and deflect lasers with his lightsaber, and he can also send some of the lasers back to the enemies. Cal can also block enemies' melee attacks and sometimes do counter-attacks. There are all kinds of enemies to fight, from different animals to different soldiers. Using Force ability during combat can change the tide of the battle pretty easily, especially when the player uses them efficiently. For example, Cal can pull an enemy and cut him down with the lightsaber when he is in the lightsaber's range. Combat abilities are also unlockable in the skills menu. Number 4. Lightsaber building and modeling. At some point in the game, Cal needs to build his own lightsaber. That's pretty exciting in my opinion. Throughout the game, the player can find materials for modeling the lightsaber's appearance. After Cal builds his lightsaber, the player can choose whether to fight with a single lightsaber or double-edged lightsaber. The only downside in my opinion is that Cal cannot fight with dual-bladed lightsaber, but they make up for it with a dual-bladed attack. The player can also choose the colors of the lightsaber. The available colors are blue, green, indigo, yellow, purple, cyan, magenta, and red. I played with the colors during my gameplay and finished it with a green one, just like one of my favorite characters, Qui-Gon Jinn. Number 5. BD-1. I think that all of us would like to have a little droid like R2-D2 and BB-8 to help us around or just be with us the whole time. This is exactly what BD-1 do with Cal Kestis. Not because Cal wanted, but because BD-1 wanted to. BD-1 is an essential part of the game. He holds the recording of his former master, Ino Cordova, and with this recording, he leads Cal in Ino Cordova's footsteps to find the holocron. BD-1 can also give the player tips in case that the player is stuck at a level and don't know what to do. This is optional, of course. He also reads certain discoveries and adds the information into the player's log. And he is analyzing enemies and other creatures as well. BD-1 also helps Cal to find upgrades and materials for many users. But all in all, BD-1 is a sweet droid that has befriended Cal and will follow him everywhere. A quick stop for a second. If you do enjoy this content, please consider to leave a comment below and subscribe. The 5 bad things. Number 1. Getting stuck. The game have little bugs here and there, but not something very disadvantaging. And even those bugs are easily missed because they are usually in terms of visuals and not gameplay. For example, every time that Cal opens a chest, BD-1 jump into the chest and search inside. Underwater, however, the animation of BD-1 searching inside the chest are still showing, but BD-1 physically stayed on Cal's shoulders and did not go into the chest. But as I said, this is a minor issue. My major issue is with that while fighting enemies, Cal might get stuck in a corner with no way out. Some enemies have attack types that can only be evaded and not blocked. So when Cal is stuck in a corner or even between two objects, the players cannot evade or block, and Cal bound to die. Another problem that I have with it is that this is not even a bug, this is just something that the developers skipped upon. Number 2. Not for mouse and keyboard. I used to play games on my PC with keyboard and mouse. I didn't have a problem with any game, and I survived pretty well. And then came the game Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I tried playing it with a mouse and keyboard, and I got along relatively well, but the problem is that it's not comfortable. There are many keys to press and each of them is very essential. I struggled to find the right key on the keyboard to make the evade button comfortable to use. And that's why I had to plug in my controller. Now I know that it sounds very petty to say that, but there are many people who doesn't have a controller. Why should they have to struggle? Number 3. The map. The map is very hard to read. Although I did like the idea of a 3D map for a game, the execution was a bit problematic for me. Luckily, I didn't get lost much, but that thanks to me being able to read the map eventually. There are some cases where the player cannot know if they are going in the right direction or not. In some levels, the map shows more than one story, and in those cases the player really needs to play with the map in order to understand where they are. What I think that might be able to help here is if Respawn Entertainment were to color each level in a very different shade, it could have helped the player to distinguish between the platforms. It could have done the map much more readable as well. Number 4. Jaro Tapal. Jaro Tapal is Cal's former master who died during the purge while saving Cal. He was a very strong-minded person and he was very powerful as well. Cal remembered his master fondly and respectfully. My problem with Jaro Tapal is that his character didn't feel like it being developed well. As a former master of Cal, I would have imagined a stronger connection between them, just like we can see with almost every master and student in the Jedi world. So when Cal remembered the day that Jaro Tapal saved him, or when I saw the inner conflict with his master, I didn't feel like there's any connection between them at all. Just dull memories. Number 5. The following camera. I had to mention the camera movement here. Although the settings of the camera are pretty advanced, the way that the camera follows Cal is a little uncomfortable. It's easy to lose sight of where you are while underwater, and it's very easy to lose control of it when you have many enemies surrounding you. The camera moves away from your objective quite a lot while you are on the move, and if you need to pay attention to other things in your surroundings, it can be crucial. And that was the list. I got a bonus fact for you. The developers wanted Cal to be a non-human at the beginning of the development. They didn't say from which race specifically, just a non-human character. But due to the possibilities that it might alienate Cal, they decided to make him human. Not just that, they also thought of making Cal a female character. But due to Rey's character from the third Star Wars trilogy, they didn't want to make it too similar. In conclusion, playing as a Force wielder is something that many people love, and rightly so. Using the Force to push enemies off a cliff or pull them to you and skewer them with a lightsaber is a lot of fun. And although the camera movement is something that the player really needs to get used to, and that it can be frustrating to get stuck and die because of it during the combat is smooth and fun, and these issues can easily be forgotten. If you played this game, please consider to let me know what do you think about it in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and you can check my other content as well. Stay well everyone, and enjoy your games.